a.m. Eastern, told us he believed it would happen leading into the summer, and at some point before training camp, the Brock Purdy contract extension. Purdy reaches a 5-year, $265 million extension, $181 million guaranteed, annual average value of $53 million. Congratulations to the Niners. Congratulations to Purdy. And dare I say, ladies and gentlemen, Brock Purdy, if you had to categorize underpaid or overpaid relative to his peers at his position, is closer to underpaid than overpaid. I don't believe that's a hot take. I may get my head ripped off for it, but this was a great deal in my mind for the San Francisco 49ers. Mm-hmm. Tua makes more than him. Trevor Lawrence makes more than him. Mm-hmm. Dak makes a lot more than him. He is proven, he is young, and he has weapons for all of those that say he can't do it without weapons. Good, because they're there. I think it's a great deal for the Niners.
Yeah, I thought it was a good deal for both sides. Brock Purdy goes from making under $900,000 a year as Mr. Irrelevant to the highest paid player in 49ers franchise history. So he gets his bag, but he earned it. He's taken this franchise to 2 NFC championship games. He won one of them, and he went to a Super Bowl. But I'm interested to see moving forward how the vibes change around Brock Purdy, because now he's not a bargain. Now he's not a surprise. If things do not turn around from last season when they went 6-11, and he's all of a sudden making all this money and prohibiting the 49ers from making other moves because of what he's commanding financially, and again, he's earned it. How will we view Brock Purdy, and how will we view this deal? But right now, in the immediacy of it, great for both sides.
Can I just fight you on semantics on one thing?
Go ahead.
What's up?
He's not as much of a bargain. He's still a bargain relative to the people that are paid above him. He's better than. He is not.
He's more accomplished than
He's
them.
more accomplished than.
That
I don't
doesn't
know
mean
that
he's better
than
them.
those guys.
Okay, well, he is still not overpaid. How about that?
Well,
based on what's happened in the past.
Based on what's happened in the past.
Now we're starting anew.
We'll find out what he is this year with all of the defections that we saw with the 49ers this offseason.
When you say all, who are all?
What do you mean who are all?
Just Debo. Who else are we talking about?
We're not going to consider what happened on the defensive side of the ball?
They were awful on defense last year.
All of those guys that bounced. Yeah, they were awful because a lot of those guys were hurt. Mm-hmm. But then, when all of those guys are healthy, you're talking about a team that's really good. They were awful on defense last year. Conversely, the team was awful. Mm-hmm. But when that team has been good, when they've gotten to the championship rounds, that defense has been really, really good.
Agreed.
All you got to look at is the defensive coordinators, all the guys that got head coaching jobs. Rob Saleh got a head coaching job for them because he was the DC. D'Amico Ryan's got a head coaching job because he was the DC. Mm-hmm. That defense has, in a lot of ways, been the bus driver for the championship runs that the 49ers have been on.
Agreed.
Yet they haven't been able to win the championship. So this is a hell of a contract to dole out to a quarterback that has won you absolutely nothing.
Kind of like the ones above him. Right? I mean, it's really remarkable because if you look at the guys above him, Dak is at 60.
Yep.
I'm talking about annual average value of contracts.
Yeah.
Dak's at 60.
Yeah.
I think all of us believe Dak's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he's done less in terms of winning than Purdy.
Yep.
Joe Burrow's at 55.
Yep.
Now, it's interesting. Is Joe Burrow awesome? Yes. It's interesting that we only apply the Brock Purdy's only good when the weapons are healthy thing to Purdy and not to Burrow, who's never played with bad players in his life on offense.
Yeah, but the Cincinnati Bengals didn't win a playoff game in 3 decades, and Joe Burrow took him to the Super Bowl in year 2.
When he had no protection.
Yeah. And conversely, the San Francisco 49ers went to the Super Bowl a few years before Brock Purdy got there with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right.
Josh Allen at 55, leave him to the side.
Yeah.
He's MVP is amazing.
Unbelievable.
I mean, your guy, Jordan Love.
Yeah.
He's had less individual and team success than Brock Purdy, and he makes more than Brock Purdy. Mm-hmm. And I don't blame your team for doing it, Smalls. I think they had to do it. They have to continue what they've done, which is Favre, Rodgers, Love. But, I mean, I think you could even admit, less individual success, less team success, and $2 million more a year.
Yes, less individual success, less team success. He's also been injured. Now, I'm not going to excuse the inconsistencies and especially the turnovers that we've seen persist. But I think for the Packers, they're looking at this young core that they have, and Jordan Love's part of that. He's 26 years old. He's taken the team to the playoffs twice since he's been a starter. And you see the raw talent and what he can be. For them to get that deal done at that time is a smart move for them.
Agreed, but it's still more than Purdy, right? Then you keep going down the list. Trevor Lawrence at 55. I am egg on my face like crazy on Trevor Lawrence. I thought he was a megastar. Trevor Lawrence has done nothing.
He had me hook, line, and sinker.
He's done nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in comparison, we're talking about individual and team success as it compares to Purdy.
He went to Jacksonville. Jacksonville was awful. Trash bags. They were terrible.
Would Jacksonville take Lawrence? Okay, let's do it this way. Empty roster. Lawrence at 55 or Purdy at 53? What's a better deal? We're starting an expansion team.
I don't know the answer to that.
Well,
Like, if I'm starting an expansion team, I'm going with the quarterback that has more dominant traits.
Yeah, I would still go
I
with
would
Trevor
still go
Lawrence.
with Trevor Lawrence,
Okay.
yes.
But the thing with Trevor Lawrence is, yes, he went to Jacksonville, and yes, the Urban Meyer situation was an absolute disaster, and I'm not going to fault him for that. But C.J. Stroud went to Houston, where a pastor was running the team. It was the biggest hot mess maybe in sports. Jayden Daniels went to Washington. Again, I know new regime had come in at that time, but he started things off with them. They won 4 games the year prior.
Jared Goff with the Lions.
Jared Goff with the Lions. Like, I don't give Trevor Lawrence a pass because he went to Jacksonville.
I'm not giving him a pass, but I'm also not going to sit here and say that Brock Purdy would have been more successful than Trevor Lawrence if he went to Jacksonville.
Fair.
You know, Brock Purdy has been in a pretty good incubator with the San Francisco 49ers.
You sure have.
Yeah.
And they paid him as such because they didn't pay him top of the market. They actually gave him, I would have to do the math exactly on this, but you kept saying 20% of the cap. And I think that's what they basically did.
Yeah, it's a great deal. I mean, it ends up being $45 million when you factor in the last year of his rookie deal as a part of the extension, right? It's 6 years, $271 or so odd million. That ends up being $45 million a year. That's exactly what we heard this offseason when it talks about the initial offers that the San Francisco 49ers have made. Now, in terms of new money average, it's $53 million a year, and he gets $181 million guaranteed. I think it was a deal that was too good to pass up on for a guy that was the 262nd pick in the 2022 draft. So, I mean, he did well for himself. They gave him an offer that he couldn't refuse, and he took it. But we're going to find out whether or not it ends up being a, quote, good deal for the San Francisco 49ers moving forward, because that contract now keeps you from spending top-of-the-market money on other position players that have been integral to the 49ers' success over the last half-decade.
We are on Sportsmanlike here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. There's one more guy that makes more per year. Pretty sure the Dolphins would be comfortable reducing their cap number to get to Purdy over Tua. Tua's at 53.1. Purdy's at 53 per year. It's so beyond fair. And Goff is at 53. That's an interesting one. Would the Lions flip them out? Because they're basically similar players, and Purdy's much younger.
One was taken with the number 1 pick in the draft, and the other one with the last pick in the draft.
But every time, whether it's Trevor Lawrence or Goff or Jordan Love, every time we entertain the debate of the either-or, it proves that it's a good deal.
But I guess when you're trying to put those two in the same bucket, here's what I would say about those quarterbacks. They're both guys that you can win with, but they're also both guys that you feel that you can do better than.
With Purdy and Goff, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, but you may be right, but I would say that not all of the players above those two you can win with, because there's been no proof of winning, right? Josh Allen has had a level of winning. Joe Burrow has had a level of winning. Dak has not. Love has not. Lawrence clearly has not. Tua certainly has not. And it just now, when we're talking about the most underpaid or best value quarterback contract in the league, I think before this deal, it was 2 guys, in my mind at least. It was Purdy and Mahomes. And now by far, it's Mahomes. He's not even on the list we're showing on television and on social media.
I couldn't believe that.
Mahomes is not even on here.
The contract for Patrick Mahomes is so weird, though. Like, they keep changing it. There's so many mechanisms, escalators in place. I don't know what Patrick Mahomes really makes. And they're fine with that. He's fine with that. They keep adjusting the contract when the market changes. So I don't know that you can apply the Patrick Mahomes contract to the conversation that we're having right now. But when we start talking about other guys, that becomes a legit conversation. Jalen Hurts.
Oh, yeah.
It's a hell
Lamar.
of a bargain. A Super Bowl winning quarterback. Well, Lamar Jackson ain't going to be a bargain much longer.
And nor should he be.
Lamar Jackson is about to break the bank this offseason. He's going to be the highest paid player in football.
And
61, right? He'll get to at least 61.
Yeah.
If Dak's at 60, he gets to at least 61.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Purdy. Congratulations to the Niners. It seems fair.
Congratulations to the Niners?
Yes.
I mean,
Congratulations to the Niners.